Welcome back in to another episode of the Spaceman 2.0 Phoenix Truth Rising Show. Here to help you grow in the knowledge and wisdom of truth, and the truth will set you free. With the best history lesson and spiritual insights on the planet. Exposure of the Illuminati's plan of world control and conquest is the death knell to the New World Order. So I appreciate every single one of my subscribers, everyone commenting down below. I appreciate that. If you'd like more episodes per day, we have to get through the knowledge and wisdom of truth so that we will all be set free within the next few years. Because if not, a one world government with UN troops are going to be enforcing the streets, pretending to be part of your side, but we all know whose side they're on. With that being said, with the banks failing, I said we're going from World Wide Web 1, Web 2, and I explained Web 3 with the messaging system in 1993 going from 80 protocols down to 5, and now we have quantum computing with AI. And we also have blockchain technology. And only blockchain technology with AI can work together to make the fastest payment system available for what? Web 3. So the Economist magazine in 1988 showed a world reserve currency. And I will show you the Economist magazine in 2007. Which talks about just before and at the same year, 2008, with the banking collapse and the mortgage collapses, talking about World Web 1, World Wide Web 1, and Web 2. Look who's on the cover of 2007. 1992, we're reading about right now. Who's running the show? The Bushes. The Bushes, with the Clintons and the Bushes, they run the show for at least 20 years. The World in 2007. The Economist, The World in 2007. Page 107. The web is a serial killer. We got troubled tech titans all talking about what? Web 1? No. But what? Web 2.0. Men to watch, the rising stars of Web 2.0. Who's that? Jack Ma, Alibaba. The eBay of China. How do you pay? Well, now you can pay in Canada with a digital wallet directly to customers with Alibaba. So, what does it say here? Don't bet against the internet. CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, said that in 2007 at least. The internet bubble of the 1990s may have been investor folly, but it heralded a new era. So, are we coming into a new era of investment in the new internet of Web 3, where value is settled instantly? And that's what I'm trying to get at. This is not financial advice. This is just what's happening now. What's that standout quote there? The fastest growing parts of the internet all involve direct human interaction. So what's that? Direct human interaction is the quickest and fastest way of direct human interaction is not just telecommunications. It's also sending value, remittances, internationally, across borders, at the speed of light for a fraction of a penny. That is the new Web 3.0 coming into effect. And at your own time, please just imagine these trends have three important consequences. First, most new applications can be created using existing software and protocols. Reinvention. Anyways, just go ahead and read this. Pause it. Just imagine this. To translate that into something more familiar, absorbing 5 exabytes of data on TV would require sitting in front of a screen for 40,700 years. So with quantum computing and using quantum computers to use that for AI technology, just imagine what's happening. Just imagine. So back to our wonderful history lessons, the Phoenix Journals, Divine Plan, Volume 2. And what happens in the past. This is 1992, and they're talking about what's happening in the daily news as well as what is truly in the past and true spiritual heritage of your true divine heritage with oneness with God. But with that being said, let's get back on into a law that takes effect in December, authorizing regulators to accelerate bank seizures could raise closures toward year end. Taylor said about 80 banks representing $25 billion to $30 billion in assets already failed to meet the new standards. The December surprise is like the surprise that comes down the chimney at the end of the year. It may be a surprise to some, but not to those who have been around, he said. It shouldn't be a surprise to you either, HATONN says. Well, Taylor said about 80 banks representing $25 billion to $30 billion in assets already failed to meet the new standards. Is that premonition of what's to come with the new standards with Basel III coming into effect, that all banks have to have gold backing their reserves instead of like right now, fractional banking 20 to 1. They can hand out 20 to 1. They can have $1 and hand out $20 and charge interest on those $20 and making money out of nothing. These Babylonian black magicians make money out of nothing. And we are going to put an end to that with blockchain technology, which is transparent and unhackable and will make everyone accountable in their actions, especially politicians and government and those of office, and especially those who hold dual citizenship. You can't be a worshipful, you should not worship anyone. You should revere. So you cannot revere one God and another at the same time. You'll end up loving one and hating the other, just like Christ said. The master teacher said it all. So back to IRAQI-GAETTUS. Now back to Iraq. They might be planning to go into Iran and bomb Iran to distract us from what's going on in Gaza right now and how they're taking over Palestine. 125-year anniversary in 2023 from 1898. Theodor Herzl talked about Zionism and we need to take over this land and blah, blah, blah. And you got the Rothschilds to back it. And we all know those are self-styled because they took on the Judean religion in 740 AD through their bloodline, the Khazarian bloodline in above the Caucasus Mountains, and were part of the Scythians and Mongolian Turkish race that were part of Genghis Khan and his Huns that wanted to rape, ravage, pillage, and plunder everything in the trade routes and bastardize everything and taxize everything. So what do we have now? Oh, they plan to bomb Iran or something like that. It's all distractions to take us away from what's really taking place. The Khazarian Mafia, the Mushpaka, international crime syndicate, controlling every war and everything to distract the human race from Christed principles to honor God and truth. So, IRAQI-GAETTUS. What do you think is going on? Do you actually believe that your trouble with Iraq is over the agriculture building? Let's just replace that with Iran. Could it be that Gonzalez and his committee are getting close to the truth about Banca Nacional del Lavoro? And what about Saddam and Noriega and Bush in the BCCI coalition? Remember, Saddam Hussein and Bush had joint bank accounts back in the day. Okay, so when they went into Iraq and killed so many, 200,000 people at least, and actually immobilized an army of 200,000 with scalar technology, making them just basically drop unconscious, because you can take the consciousness out of people with scalar technology. But that's another story. Check out Tom Bearden. And what about Saddam and Noriega and Bush in the BCCI coalition? But can one nation just justify murder another to keep the dirt under the rug? Look at what happened to Clinton. Everyone around Clinton went suicidal. But can one nation just simply murder another to keep the dirt under the rug? Still want that one world government with UN troop enforcement? You're watching it at work with the elite stealing from you the people to wars on the basis of a whim and to cover past discretions. Is this not 1992 just telling you about today? These journals do age well, and if you get them in your hands, you will notice that they do represent an energetic understanding of the truth. You're watching it at work from the elite stealing from you the people to wars on the basis of a whim and to cover past indiscretions. When we went to war, we had to get Congress and everyone involved. Now, you just get a president's stroke of the hand with executive powers. Do you actually think Bush can allow Saddam a hearing in all his mess of criminal activities? Does this smack of, yes, we have some U.S. prisoners in Russia? Will you pick up your faded and straggled yellow ribbons and bow down to His Majesty again? Well, it certainly looks as if you will have the chance to find out. By the way, how many of you think maybe the murders in Italy are connected to your U.S. government? And the story and point? Think again. Let us look at the poor, bedraggled Oliver North of this fiasco cover-up. Christopher Drugal. You will never hear this name again and again, so let us get acquainted. Now remember, you hear Oliver North? Go watch the movie American Made with Tom Cruise. I love watching that movie because I read all about it in these journals beforehand and in the Contact, which is a newspaper put out with all this information by one of those pilots. He actually told the truth, and I read some of the details, and I'm going to put that out in future years of this truth and information of how Oliver North and Barry Seal, which is played by Tom Cruise, flew drugs and guns and ammunition back and forth to Nicaragua, Honduras, Colombia, and that anyways with the Contra Iron affairs, which is another confirmation that the Phoenix Journals are the truth rising. Baker may help answer questions on Iraqi loans. Peter Mateus. Headline, The Atlanta Journal, The Atlanta Constitution, June 1992. HATONN, this is a bit outdated, but it fits right in with what is unfolding today. Isn't that what I said? Christopher, well, not that I'm saying the same as HATONN. He's much more higher than me in understanding and perception. Christopher Drugal has the reputation of a man who answers a question with a riddle. But since FDI officials raided the Atlanta bank office he managed in 1989, Mr. Drugal himself has been the enigma. Federal prosecutors say the Atlanta bank manager silently picked the pocket of a major Italian bank by masterminding $5 billion in secret loans used by Iraq to rearm in the years leading up to the Persian Gulf conflict, which happened in 1991-92. Mr. Drugal, 40, approved the loans while he was manager of the Atlanta branch of Italy's Bank Nazionale del Lavoro, BNL. Today, Mr. Drugal is expected to plead guilty in federal court in Atlanta, even as Congress convenes a hearing in Washington on whether to seek a special counsel to investigate the administration's prosecution of the BNL case and its policies toward Iraq. Unambiguous answers may be all that stand between Mr. Drugal and decades in prison. Like Mr. Clinton saying, what's the definition of is? But more than his personal fortunes are at stake. Lawmakers trying to unravel the BNL scandal have raised questions about the Reagan and Bush administration's secret support for Saddam Hussein before Iraq invaded Kuwait in August 1990. Oh, I was off by a year. I was 15 at the time. So we just showed you Bush administration's secret support for Saddam Hussein. So he had joint bank accounts, Bush and Saddam Hussein. Republican Henry Gonzalez, D., Texas, questions whether those secret policies were affected by personal interest of administration officials. Recently, he released a memo showing that President Bush waived conflict of interest rules for 11 cabinet-level officials so they could help set policy toward Iraq in 1990. Again, Phoenix Journal's the best history lesson on the planet. Casual about details. The answers to Mr. Gonzalez's questions may lie with Mr. Dougal, a slender, curly-haired 6-footer, born in New Jersey to a French father and German mother. He studied in France and graduated from Temple University in Philadelphia, acquiring several languages along the way. As a banker, he was known more for aggressively seeking new business than for driving a hard bargain. He was considered casual about details and seemed to crave the approval of his subordinates, associates, recalled. Paul von Weddell, Mr. Dougal's top assistant at BNL, recounts that after signing a particularly important loan agreement, the Iraqis showered him and Mr. Dougal with gifts. Mr. von Weddell opened one box and blurted, "My kids will love it, a G.I. Joe watch." Mr. Dougal, flushed with embarrassment, quickly corrected his assistant. The face on the Swiss watch was that of Saddam Hussein, not G.I. Joe.